have you struggled while searching for a right fitting garment? Maybe your chest have another size than your hips, or you are too tall or too short than a standard ready-to-wear pattern. Or maybe you have a very limited choice of a well-fitting lingerie. Hi, my name is Victoria and I faced all of these problems. That's why I started to sew for myself. And in some way I'm very proud that I did not give up. So I would like to share with you my ideas, my success and my fails. Maybe it will make some of your lives a little bit easier. So let's get started. So I would like to start by sewing a bra. Not so long ago I made this panties and I would like to make a matching set. This is how it looks closer. I was using a stretching mesh and strap elastic from the sides for decorative effect. For the bra I will take a pattern I've built myself. This is a very simple bra pattern without any underwires. I already manipulated my pattern and this is the result I want to receive. I will use strap elastic for back piece as decoration and support around and under the cup. And on the edges of the mesh I will use my thin elastic. For this project I will need a stretch mesh for the cups. It has similar elasticity in both directions. 1 cm strap elastic, 6 mm elastic, in my case it has straight silky edge, hook and eyes, 10 sliders and 9 rings, channeling, boning. I use needles for stretch materials size 75 and scissors. We will need a thin synthetic thread. Mine has size 120 and it's perfect for making lingerie or working with thin materials like silk. I prepared a cup pattern with seam allowance. The central cup seam allowance is 1 cm. It will be much easier to sew this together and then to trim the edge. Under cup seam allowance and side seam allowance both 1 cm. It is the width of our elastic. The upper seam allowance equal a width of our smaller elastic. We are not calculating decorative edge. For 1 cup I will need 1 piece of a central part and 2 pieces of a side part for a better support from the sides. I pinned my pattern to the mesh to avoid shifting and I positioned them in such a way that a warp thread mark, this one with the arrows, be parallel to the side edge. I cut all pieces. Not to mix up wrong and right sides, I put small chalk cross on the wrong side of the material. And do not forget about notch marks on the center of the breast. So how do we make a closed seam? Our task is to hide the seam in between the 2 side pieces. For this we cover central piece, wrong side to the wrong side, and then flip it over right side to the right side. Now we need to pin the edge, looking for 3 notch marks matched together. I pinned everything. You see, notch marks are matching together. For the beginners, I propose to put temporary hand stitch along the edge if it's uncomfortable for you because of slippery material or you feel not very secure to stitch over pins. I connected everything with straight stitch. Stitch length 2.5 mm. And do not forget to make a back stitch at the beginning and the end of the line. I deleted my hand stitch. And look, at this seam still remains some elasticity. I cut the edge to 5 mm and I cut this triangle allowance on the top to avoid excessive thickness in further work. And this is how it looks in the end. Now comes the fun part. We need to stitch elastic to the edge of the cup. For this we position elastic front side to the front side of the cup. I will leave some elastic tail. And the decorative edge positioned towards the cup. Now we need to make zigzag stitch close to the decorative edge, and then we will have this effect. I made a back stitch on the beginning. I pull elastic a little bit towards me to create some tension. In this way, cup will have better support, and actually it's not my favorite type of work because you easily can create different tension on one cup than on another. I prefer to make elastic a little bit shorter than the edge and to pin this along the edge. I marked the line on my elastic with a special pen to see where my stitch have to go. These marks will disappear after ironing. Of course, it will be much easier to work with big elastic at first. And now you can see the result. After this, I trim excessive edge. Now we make a second zigzag stitch on the edge of the elastic from the wrong side of the cup. I cut elastic 6 mm shorter than the edge to avoid very thick lace under a second elastic. Now we do the same procedure with the front part of the cup. Here is a tip. To make the edge look very accurate, you should iron this from the front side before your second stitch. Now we have two ready cups. You should pay attention during the work that these central cuts remain the same length. If there's some difference, you can cut little excessive mesh from the lower edge. And now we need to connect cups with a straight stitch. Now we need to iron the allowance and make two straight stitches 3 mm from the middle. You may also use zigzag stitch. So I have my straight stitch, and now I will trim excessive fabric. So now we need to stitch elastic to the lower edge of the bra. We need to measure all the length, and then we make our elastic 15% shorter, or maybe 10, it depends on the elasticity. We should leave 4 cm from the sides, then later we can make a loop with ring to avoid extra details. In the ready garment, I want to have this elastic from the right side, so from the front. I put wrong side of the elastic to the wrong side of the bra. We make the same procedure as earlier. We put a zigzag stitch close to the edge, then we flip it over and another zigzag stitch. But before we will stitch this the second time, I will put inside another detail, this middle elastic that goes to the ring, and it will be fixed with a zigzag. Now I mark a middle point and pin everything together. Now let's go to the sewing machine. While sewing, try to feel tension of the material. Remember that this seam we will see from the front. A special middle point can make some troubles. And don't be upset if you will not make this from the first time and you will need to remake this few times. I personally made this decent only from the third time. Now we need to attach strap elastic to the cup. I took wanted length through the ring, added some 2 cm allowance to connect this with the cup, and some allowance to close side elastic from the back. Okay, why am I doing such a complicated thing? Thing is that I do not have any big rings. I have only 10 and 12 mm rings. And you can make everything much easier just purchasing bigger rings and connect all 4 elastics directly to one ring. Now we will make simple straight stitch to connect the elastic. I will make another straight stitch 5 mm lower and I will trim excessive elastic. So for the next step I want to attach these 2 side elastics to the strap. What length I will take? Here I will take full length, like on the drawing, plus 5-6 cm for a loop and another 2 cm to attach a slider. But this elastic has no slider, so I will have no opportunity to adjust this later. That's why I will make it 15% shorter to create some extra support on the sides. I will start from a middle elastic, and now I will show how to make an adjustable strap. At first, we need to stitch a slider. We make a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch as close as possible to the slider. I usually position my needle in the right side corner, and I make a stretch stitch. The wrong side of the elastic is still facing up. I take a bottom part and thread the ring on. Take a bottom tail and go through the ring, and then go through your slider again, first on the bottom part, and then again through the top. And that's it. I instantly connect both front elastics to the ring. Now I will make this knot. I position these straps and fix them with a temporary hand stitch. I did it. I put the ring on and now I close this with the rest of elastic. I make a straight stitch along the edge 1 mm from the side and secure my elastics inside. You can see that this stitch is almost not noticeable. The length of the stitch was 1.5–2 mm and I secured only 3 sides. Now I'm going to make a side knot. I find this the most complex part of the work because it has a lot of components. It looks like sandwich. At the beginning we have a layer of channeling, then we have cup mesh together with all the small details with all the elastics, and then I will cover this with another elastic, strap elastic, to make it beautiful from the exterior. I am transferring all marks to the channeling. I already prepared 4 loops with rings and fixed them from sliding. So now I'm connecting all these details. At first, I hand stitched these loops. Then I attached a side strap. And then I attached a last loop together with a mesh. I covered all these details with a strap elastic. Now I need to stitch this frame from 3 sides close to the edge. We leave one side open to put boning inside. I trimmed channeling close to the stitch. I flipped elastic over the edge, and now we need to make another straight stitch. After it's done, we are preparing boning. I tucked my boning into the channeling, I put the mark, and then I made it shorter for around 7 mm. We need to close the edge with a stitch and not catch the boning with the needle. Plus there have to be few millimeters freedom for the boning inside. I use nail file to smooth plastic edges. It works pretty good. I put my boning inside and closed the last edge. Now it's time for back elastics. I added 6 cm for the loop and another 2 cm to secure the slider. I stitched all 3 elastics to the pocket of my bra closure. The same from the eye side of the closure. I recommend to check a bra you're wearing to see from what side positioned eyes and from what hooks. You can use a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch. I will use a zigzag. So for this I need to unbend these hooks to have enough room for a zigzag. Don't forget backpacking at the beginning and the end of your stitching. It's almost ready. I need to prepare a ring for our shoulder straps. I positioned an elastic 4 cm from our closure. Usually it is around 5 cm. And I will stitch this elastic on the bottom and the top, close to the edges. Then I will add my ring, make a loop, and make a stitch to secure the ring inside. This is the end result. Near the ring I made a small zigzag. Now it is time for shoulder elastics. I took 40 cm length and already secured the sliders. We slip them through the ring, passing the slider, the front ring, and making a straight stitch. Finally, our last step. I need to stitch my middle elastic to the cup, otherwise it will not work, it will just turn inside out the lower edge. I just will put 2 straight stitches on the top, slip the elastic to the ring, and I will make a final stitch near the ring. But before this, I will wear my bralette and look how high I want to position my ring. This is the end result and I'm very satisfied. For a bigger breast I would recommend to take thicker elastic for shoulder straps and under the breast. And now I will show you how it fits. I want to thank you for your attention. In future I will show you more lingerie tutorials like this one. Take care of yourself and see you the next time.